Good afternoon, Mr. Mandira. Thank you for meeting with me. I have reviewed the allegations made against you by ASIC regarding your trading in Sky High Resources shares between March and June of 2025. Today, I will be providing you my advice on two key issues. The first one being whether ASIC is likely to succeed in proving that you breached the insider information trading provisions of the Corporations Act. Second one being if ASIC is successful, whether you may obtain any relief from liability under Section 1317 of the Act. Uh, my Mr. Mandira, my overall opinion is that ASIC appears to have a strong case over here. However, there are still some arguments available to reduce your legal risk and improve your position. Mr. Mandira, ASIC alleges you that you purchased shares in Sky High after receiving a confidential insider information about a proposed takeover of the company by Montclair Holdings, which is a United Kingdom corporation. They say that you knew, or at least should reasonably have known, that this information was not public and would affect the share price once it was publicly announced. To prove insider trading, ASIC must establish several things. Uh, First one being there was an information that the information was not generally available to the public in the market, and also it would likely affect the share price, and that you possess the information when trading and you made a substantial profit using that information. In my view, the communications you allegedly received were very specific. They did refer to a foreign buyer interested in purchasing Sky High, the deal being close to completion, and an announcement likely in June, and a likely price above $3 per share were announced or said in that information. That is more than ordinary market rumor. It is the type of valuable information courts tend to take very, very seriously. Um, the takeover was not uh, publicly announced until 14th of June 2025. Before that date, the information was discussed privately at both dinners, diplomatic meetings, and private communication channels. For an ordinary investor, um, to receive those information is an asset. So ASIC is likely to argue successfully that the information was not public. So this is probably ASIC's strongest point, as Sky High shares were trading at around $1.80, and the takeover price was later announced at $3.25. So any reasonable investor would definitely consider advance purchasing of that transaction, which is going to be a high value asset later. So ASIC is definitely likely to establish that the information would affect the share price. Also, ASIC will rely heavily on the timing of the purchases. They alleges that after receiving the communication in March, you were first able to purchase 50,000 shares, and then receiving further confirmation in April, you purchased another 70,000 shares. The timing of it is a little arguable. So ASIC argues that your trading decisions were heavily influenced by the information you received during that time. This is another strong point in the case. In my opinion, In my opinion, Mr. Mandara, in my opinion, there is a risk that um, if ASIC succeeds, uh, because the strongest because of due to strongest reasons, the information was detailed. It was not public, and it was clearly price sensitive, and your trades occurred soon after receiving those information. For that reason, we should prepare on the um, basis that liability is a realistic possibility. There is definitely relief available, even though ASIC is able to prove the contravention. The court may excuse you from liability under section 1317 as to obtain the relief. The court must be satisfied that you acted honestly, and in any or all circumstances you ought fairly to be excused. Um, there are definitely some arguments in your favor. First one being, you were not a company insider, and you were not a director or an employee of Sky High. There is no allegation that you stole documents, hacked systems, or bribed anyone to get that information. You may also argue that you exercised poor judgment but did not act in dishonesty. These are definitely some helpful points. Although you have some arguments, there are definitely more arguments that are against you, um, because you are an experienced trader. The information detailed, the information was detailed and repeated several times. You made substantial purchases after receiving it, and ASIC also alleges that you made a significant profit out of the information. Courts are generally reluctant to excuse such conduct that appears commercially opportunistic. So, in my view, relief is possible but not um, highly likely. I also have my practical recommendation, which is rather than relying solely on complete denial, we should focus on challenging what we actually know, or what you actually know, arguing the sources appeared um, um, informal and unreliable, and also demonstrating a lack of any deliberate dishonesty, and if necessary, reducing any penalty. This is likely the most realistic strategy that we can follow. Um, in summary, Mr. Mandira, ASIC appears to have a strong case here. Your best defense concerns whether you truly understood the information to be confidential inside information or not. If liability is established, relief may be difficult. Accordingly, the best strategy is to defend the knowledge issue strongly while preparing to minimize any penalties if required. Um, Thank you, Mr. Mandira. I'm happy to provide any further guidance or any further advice regarding any next steps. Please feel free to contact me.